Alright guys, so pretty big news. So the House is drafting a mega bill. It is about 390 pages, and I was just combing through it because I heard that there is a section in there that is taking the $7,500 tax credit off of EVs starting in 2026 December. There will be no more $7,500 tax credit. If you didn't know, if you buy a brand new EV right now, zero emissions EV, it can't be a hybrid, it has to be fully electric, you get a $7,500 tax credit, and that does not mean you get $7,500 given to you. That just means that, say, at the end of the year, if you owe the government $10,000, you write that off and you don't have to pay them $7,500 of that. That's what it means. Nobody's giving you money, you are not getting free money, nothing like that. So it doesn't really take anything out of anyone's pocket. If anything, you're just paying less taxes, which is the dream. I want everyone to pay less taxes, like completely less, like zero. That's the hope. But I am a radical libertarian, so it makes sense. I have a bias, and I can accept my bias. It also had a $4,000 used vehicle tax credit for used EVs. Again, you have to qualify for all this. You have to make like under $100,000 a year and like all these kind of like little things that are just written into the tax code, which, if you know, the tax code is extremely stupid, frustrating, and all those things under the sun, which is why you could just throw the book out, save everybody a lot of time. It is funny because there's companies like Slate, who I was making fun of recently. They were marketing their car as $20,000 with the $7,500 tax credit, and $20,000 would be the cheapest one possible. So realistically, any options on that car is going to be like $30,000+. So it's really not going to be all that cheap, and I'm making fun of it again. Sorry, everyone who's a big Jeff Bezos fan, but I don't think his car is going to be as cheap as they hope it's going to be. But the real question is, Cooper, if you hate taxes so much, why do you want this to go away? Well, that's a great question. And it's actually interesting because it might take a little bit of mental gymnastics to figure out why this is bad. And once maybe I explain it to you, maybe you'll all understand, maybe you'll disagree with me. But the way that I see it is, if you give some cars a $7,500 tax credit, say you have let's go something easy, you got like a $35,000 or $30,000 Tesla, and you get to take $7,500 off of it. Suddenly that Tesla looks way more alluring. It's now only 20 some odd $1,000, like $2,250. And then you have basically the same level car at, say, Chevy that is also $30,000. It's got like the same mileage, the same range, the same like kind of size and all this stuff, but it's not that much cheaper. It doesn't take $7,500 off the customer's purchase price for no reason, really, just because you want them to buy an EV. So that means that GM is now competing with the federal government's incentive to drive your buying decision. So how does GM compete? If they are making basically the same car, it costs them, say, the same amount of money to produce it, but they don't get to promote that you get this free tax break, how are they going to convince you to buy that car over an EV that is the same quality but cheaper? Well, they'll have to figure out a few ways. They'll either have to lower their quality enough to compete, lower like the quality of the vehicle and what you get bang for your buck to be competitive. So now your $30,000 Chevy is the same quality as, say, your $30,000 Tesla, but realistically you're getting a lot more with the Tesla because that $7,500 baked into it, if that makes sense. So you don't get this. It's a fake demand. It's a fake capitalist market when you do this, when you pick a winner and loser by helping them get a leg up on the competition. And Tesla's not the only one. Rivian uses this. Chevy uses this for their EVs. Ford uses this for their EVs. And it creates a fake competition that the gas cars just can't compete with. because you have basically an extra free $7,500 to make your car better. So you could just put in an extra free $7,500 worth of equipment and tech and seats and luxury that the other car couldn't, to be able to compete on the same playing field. I hope that all makes sense, because it makes sense in my brain. I don't know when I vomit it out if it makes as much sense, but they're basically artificial competition, and it's ruining the ICE cars in a lot of ways. Personal belief on that, because it's really hard to compete when that's a big chunk of cash. That is a lot of money to compete, and we already know some of these electric vehicles are already pulling away, and a lot of it is because of that. They're just able to do that. It's used in the marketing. Every EV company you go to, they show you the price after the tax incentive, assuming you already got it. You might not get it, but that's the price they're giving you, which is just crazy. And I don't give everyone the tax break. I wouldn't say you can write off everything. I would say, obviously, like I said in the beginning, just cut all taxes, just throw the IRS in the trash, kind of like that. But obviously, most people will argue that point. But it's ruining the rest of the car industry. So I'd hope that this would go away. I know Elon Musk has already talked about him not being worried about the tax credit, mostly because their cars are already priced so much better than the rest of the market, in my opinion. I think especially like the EV market, like the Rivian is really expensive and they're still losing money on those vehicles. The Lucid isn't really even in the conversation because that thing's so expensive. The Slate will be interesting, but not really. And then all the big three have their own some form of EV. I mean, if you look at the Dodge Charger Daytona, it's kind of a running joke in the car industry, in both the EV industry and in the tuner performance car hot rodding industry. And then if you look at the Ford Lightning, those things have just tanked in value across the board, and there are so many sitting that Ford will probably just have to start throwing them in the ocean at some point just to get rid of them. And then there is, who else has got a good EV? Cadillac is really heavy into the EV stuff. They are on a big push, but most of their stuff is so expensive that this doesn't really help very much. Like the $7,500 to some of these Cadillac buyers, like the Lyriq and the new Escalade and the things like that. I don't think anybody really, those customers are going to really feel the $7,500. Maybe they will. Maybe the rich people are very concerned about that $7,500. I don't know. But hopefully they pull away the free money. We'll see how this works. In this bill, there's also a ton of things about pulling away, not just that, but the commercial clean vehicle credits, the efficient home credits, the clean energy credits, residential clean energy credits, clean electricity production credits. There's a ton of pullback on all of the tax cuts and the credits, and giving money and giving low interest loans with government assistance so that you can put a solar paneled fan in your outhouse shitter, just so that it's better for the environment. Those kind of little things, hopefully some of those go away, because half of them are just, I think, just to waste time and just to give somebody something to do. They'll find old people that are retired, you're either a greeter at Walmart, or maybe you go door to door selling government subsidized outhouse fans. I don't know where those people. I've had it happen. I've had them knock on my door many a times. They're nice people, but it's really a pain in the ass. So, what do you guys think? Should the $7,500 tax credit go away? Should everyone just get a free $7,500 to write off? And then you don't have to worry about either if you're not buying a new car, maybe just everyone. Just everyone should be able to write off $7,500 or $4,000 if you have a used car. I don't know. But that's going to do it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Keep it saucy. I'll see you next time. Like, follow, and subscribe.